This is the story of a little girl named Mia, and the day her life changed forever. Mia was 8 years old, full of joy, curiosity, and the kind of innocence only a child can carry so effortlessly. She loved drawing butterflies, climbing trees, and racing her father down the sidewalk, even though she always lost and laughed every time. She didn't know that one ordinary Saturday afternoon would become the defining moment of her entire life. The morning began peacefully. Sunlight warmed the kitchen tiles, birds sang near the window, and the smell of pancakes drifted through the house. Mia sat at the table, swinging her feet beneath her chair, barely able to sit still. Her father had promised that today would be the day she finally learned to ride her bike without training wheels. She wore her favorite purple jacket, the one with stars on the sleeves, even though it wasn't very cold. She said it made her feel brave. Her mother tied her hair into 2 neat braids and kissed her forehead before they left for the park. The park was only a short walk away, a place filled with tall trees, wide fields, and a gentle hill perfect for practicing bike riding. Parents sat on benches watching their children play. Dogs chased tennis balls. The world felt calm, innocent, safe. Mia placed her foot on the pedal and pushed. Her father jogged beside her, ready to catch her if she fell. For a few moments, she wobbled, her handlebars shaking. But then, her balance clicked into place. She shouted with joy as she rode ahead, her father cheering behind her. She wanted to try the small hill. She was confident, maybe too confident. As she rolled down the hill, her front wheel struck a hidden rock. The bike jerked violently. She flipped forward, hitting the ground with full force. Her head struck the pavement. The world faded instantly. Her father sprinted toward her, shouting her name. When he reached her, she wasn't moving. He lifted her gently, calling for help with shaking hands. Panic filled his voice. A mother nearby dialed 911. Someone brought a jacket to lay under her head. In what felt like seconds and hours all at once, the ambulance arrived. Paramedics checked her pulse, placed oxygen on her face, and rushed her inside. Her father rode with her, praying, begging, whispering, "Please stay with me, baby. Please." At the hospital, doctors worked frantically to stabilize her. Her breathing was shallow, her pulse weakened. Machines beeped, nurses moved quickly, and her mother arrived in tears, falling to her knees beside the bed. But while the world around her was filled with panic, something else was happening to Mia. She later said the first thing she felt was quietness, a deep quietness, not empty or cold, peaceful, comforting, warm. She opened her eyes but saw the hospital room from above, as though she were floating gently near the ceiling. She saw her father holding her hand. She saw her mother crying uncontrollably. She saw doctors rushing around, their faces tense and worried. She tried speaking. She tried calling out, but no sound came from her. When she reached toward her mother, her hand passed through her like mist, and oddly, she felt no fear, only calm. Then the hospital room faded. Darkness replaced everything. But this darkness wasn't frightening. She described it as warm, soft, and deep, like being wrapped in a blanket made of quiet. She didn't know if she floated there for seconds or an eternity. Time didn't seem to exist. She began to see something in the distance, a tiny speck of light, faint at first, like the first star of the night sky. Slowly, it grew brighter, warmer, closer. She felt drawn toward it, not pulled, but welcomed, invited, loved. As the light grew, she felt emotions wash over her. Peace, safety, comfort, joy. Every worry she'd ever had dissolved, every fear faded away. The light opened around her like a doorway, and she stepped through into a world more vibrant than anything she had known. She stood in a meadow, bathed in golden light. The grass glowed softly, each blade shimmering like it held its own tiny sun. Flowers surrounded her, their colors richer and deeper than anything on earth. Colors she said she didn't have names for. The sky above her shimmered in shades of blue and silver. A gentle breeze carried a scent she described as the smell of being home. And then she noticed someone walking toward her, a man in white. His robe flowed with the breeze. His steps were slow and steady. Light seemed to rise from him, around him, through him, but not in a blinding way. It was gentle, warm, comforting. Mia didn't feel nervous or confused. She felt like she knew him before she ever met him, like he had always been part of her story. He knelt in front of her. His eyes were deeper than anything she had ever seen, filled with kindness, understanding, and a love so strong she said it felt like sunlight hugging you. She asked, "Are you Jesus?" He smiled, and the smile alone filled her with warmth. "Yes," he said gently. "I have been with you every moment of your life." He held out his hand, and when she touched it, she felt light spread through her entire being. They began walking together through the glowing meadow. She didn't need to use words. Many times, she simply thought something, and he understood. Sometimes he didn't move his lips, but she heard him clearly inside her heart. It was communication beyond speaking. She looked up at him and asked with a trembling voice, "Am I going to stay here?" Jesus stopped walking. He turned fully toward her. His expression was filled with love, but also a kind of tender sadness. "Not yet," he said softly. "There is someone who still needs you." Suddenly, a vision appeared before her, as clear as a movie projected in the air. She saw her mother in the hospital room, shaking with sobs, begging God not to take her daughter. She saw her father gripping her hand tightly, whispering prayers through tears. Mia felt her heart ache. She couldn't stand to see them so hurt. Jesus gently placed a hand on her shoulder. "You are deeply loved," he said, "and your life has a purpose you have not discovered yet." She didn't want to go. She wanted to stay in the meadow forever. She didn't understand why she couldn't remain in the place that felt like home. As if sensing her sadness, Jesus knelt and wrapped his arms around her. She said the hug felt like being filled with pure love. No fear, no pain, no confusion, just love so strong it felt infinite. When he released her, she noticed something behind him, a gate of living light. It shimmered, moved, and pulsed like the light itself was alive. She could hear faint singing beyond it, a chorus of voices in perfect harmony, beautiful, powerful, overflowing with joy. She saw figures on the other side. Some appeared human, glowing with light. Others seemed shaped from light itself. She felt drawn to them, drawn to the music, drawn to the warmth beyond the gate. "Can I go there?" she asked quietly. Jesus smiled kindly. "One day," he said, "but not today." He lifted his hand, and suddenly scenes burst before her like a tapestry unfolding. She saw glimpses of her future, herself growing older, helping people, comforting others, sharing hope. She saw herself standing in front of groups of people, speaking with confidence she did not yet have. She saw herself holding the hands of people who felt alone. She saw herself shining light into dark places. "You will touch lives," Jesus told her, "in ways you cannot imagine now." Then he placed his hand over her heart, and light flowed into her chest, warm and deep. "You will remember my love," he said, "even when the world grows loud." The meadow began to fade around her. The singing dimmed. The warmth began to drift away like mist. She clung to Jesus, crying, "I don't want to leave." He wiped her tears gently. "I am not sending you away," he whispered. "I am sending you back with my peace." The world went white. Suddenly she gasped awake in her hospital bed. Her mother screamed her name. Nurses rushed into the room. Her father shouted for help. Doctors froze, stunned at her sudden, complete recovery. Mia blinked slowly. Her first words were soft. "Mom, Jesus told me I had to come back." Her parents stared in shock. Over the next days, she explained everything in astonishing detail. The meadow, the gate of light, the singing, the warmth, the vision of her future, and Jesus himself. She described his voice, his eyes, his hug, his words. She repeated the same details every time, never changing anything. Doctors couldn't explain how she recovered so quickly. Some tried to say her mind was making sense of trauma, but her parents knew the difference between imagination and truth. They had seen the way her face glowed when she spoke about him. They had felt her peace. When Mia returned home, her personality had changed. She was calmer, more patient, more grateful. She hugged her parents constantly. She told her father, "Jesus said you're doing a good job." Her father cried when she said it. As weeks turned into months and months into years, Mia carried that peace with her. Whenever things became difficult, she closed her eyes and remembered the meadow, the gate, and the man who promised never to leave her. Her near-death experience didn't fade. It didn't soften. It didn't become uncertain. It stayed with her as clear as the day it happened. And as she grew older, she realized her life did have purpose, just as Jesus had shown her. She learned to help others. She learned to speak words of comfort. She learned to bring hope exactly where hope was missing. She never forgot the love she felt in that other world, and she never forgot the one who walked with her there. This is the story of the child who met Jesus and returned with a message of love that forever changed her heart and the hearts of everyone who heard it.